Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Ant and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be doing a Pokemon PureRed hardcore Nuzlocke. Pokemon PureRed is a ROM hack of Pokemon Red. Updated graphics, new teams, new types have been added onto Pokemon, new weaknesses to other types have been added, and likely a bunch of other things I forgot to include. Anyway, if you're new to the channel and or enjoy watching a grown adult rage at video games— oh my god, no! Lorelei, you fucking cunt! Then you're probably in the right place. So let's see if we can hit 7k this year. If you haven't already, bloody smash it! And without further ado, welcome to my PureRed hardcore Nuzlocke. But yeah, let's go get into it. So right now I'm just picking my name as Ant. I gotta pick my rival's name. And I'm gonna go take Bulbasaur as my starter. I never really take Bulbasaur ever in any of this content. Gave him the nickname of Venus for when he's a Venusaur, if he makes it that long. As rival goes and takes Charmander. With this end, we're gonna go get into our first rival fight of the run. And Blue's going to start off with that Charmander he just chose, obviously. I'll go leave Venus, and I'm going to skip most of this fight because it's just tackle spam. But we keep going for tackle, all the way until Blue's Charmander goes down, and we win the fight. After this, then I'm going to have a quick walk up to Viridian City, go get Oak's parcel, give it back to Professor Oak, get ourselves a Pokedex, and things can finally start. So we go into the Pokemart, get ourselves 15 Pokeballs, and on the route just below Viridian City, my first encounter is an Eevee. So I'll catch this up. And I actually forgot to give this a nickname. Route 22 afterwards, just before the rival fight, we're going to go get ourselves a Nidoran. I catch this up as well and go give it the nickname of Cabbage. And just up above as well, on route what I think is route 3, I go catching myself a Growlithe. I was feeling very creative with the nickname, so this got a nickname of Arcanine. And quickly before we do that rival fight as well, I'm also going to go capture myself a Pokemon in Viridian Forest. And this is a Caterpie. Caterpie gets caught, given the nickname of Bye Bye. Now with all of these captures done, I'm going to start doing a little bit of training. And I go and evolve my Caterpie into a Metapod at level 7. And with that then, I believe everyone's going to be at a perfect level for us to go fight the rival. So we head back into Route 22 and go get into the fight. Blue here starts off with a Meowth. I'll go lead our Eevee. And I do a load of tackles to put the Meowth into low life before then making a switch over into Venus and taking a payday. From here then, Venus can go finish off the Meowth with another tackle. And that's going to leave Blue with just one last remaining Pokemon, and that's his Charmander. Now I immediately switch with Venus here just in case it knows any fire type moves. And go straight over into Arcanine. And with Arcanine here, I can go for 3 bites, take down the Charmander, and that's Blue defeated. While doing some more training in Viridian Forest after, Bye Bye reaches level 10, and with this, our Metapod is then going to go and evolve into a Butterfree, just in time before we go into the fight with Brock. Brock's a Rock-type gym leader. He's starting off with Geodude. I'm starting off with our Bulbasaur. And Bulbasaur here can go take this down with a one-shot to Vine Whip. We do that. And then we get Onix after. And this is also double super effective, but we don't take this down with a one-shot. It actually takes 2 Vine Whips to take down the Onix. And with that done, that's Brock defeated to earn ourselves our first gym badge of the run. Moving on to the next route after, we do a bit more battling against the trainers. And Venus here is also going to go and evolve into an Ivysaur. And straight after evolving Ivysaur, we go into the grass just below. And we go find ourselves an Execute as our encounter. Now, I remember saying to myself that this Execute needs to become something massive in the run for us. Just because it took so many Pokeballs to catch. But we did end up catching it at least in the end. Annoyingly, after finishing Mount Moon, I go into the grass below and I kill the encounter like an idiot. So we lose our encounter there. Do some more training in the grass after, and get Cabbage to go and evolve into a Nidorina. After doing a bunch of training to get everybody up to a level that I was happy with to get into the fight, we go get into the Celadon City gym battle with Misty. I'm starting off with Tropic, and Tropic's able to go take down the Staryu with a Mega Drain, following it up with an Absorb afterwards. After then we get Starmie. Starmie uses Disable and prevents us from using Absorb, but we still got Mega Drain, so I go for 1 Mega Drain, put it into just above Half-Life, and because I didn't want to put Starmie into healing range, I started wasting a couple turns. I go for Leech Seed to try and get a bit of chip damage, and then on the next turn after that, I'm also going to go put Starmie to sleep with Hypnosis. I keep doing this just to get his life down a little bit more, even going for another Hypnosis after knowing it won't work just to get that tiny bit more chip damage. From there then, I know Starmie's not going to live another Mega Drain. I go for this, take down the Starmie, and we defeat Misty for the Cascade badge. From here then, we're going to go to the route up above, get into our next rival fight against Blue. And Blue here sends out a Beedrill as his first Pokemon. Luckily, I started off with Arcanine here, so we do get an advantage. I go for 2 Embers and then a quick attack to take this down. Afterwards, then he sends out Krabby, so I make a quick switch over into Tropic, take a Duskclaw on the switch, and finish off with Krabby with a one-shot to Mega Drain. After his Krabby goes down, Blue's then going to send in his next Pokemon, which is Diglett. This also goes down to another one-shot, but to absorb this time. And now lastly, we got his final Pokemon, Charmeleon. So I stay with Tropic for a turn here while taking an Ember, and I go put this under Leech Seed. From here then, I go make a switch over into Arcanine, take a Duskclaw on a switch, which is super effective. So I didn't really like that. I did decide to stay in though and give this a bite as it hits me with Leer, and I go put it to just above Half-Life while Leech Seed does the rest. So I'm actually going to switch here as I know it's going for Duskclaw and I'm -1 defense, and it actually goes for an Ember on the switch. Super effective, but that's fine. Doesn't do too much damage. I started trying to hit this with a couple Mega Drains to get into low life. As I know it's faster than me, I do want to make another switch here just in case of a crit. So I switch over into Arcanine, take a Leer on the switch, do a bit of damage to it with Leech Seed, and then we go finish this off with a quick attack. And with that done, that's Blue defeated, allowing us to get past Blue, go over the Nugget Bridge into Bills, and get ourselves the SS and ticket. Get another encounter after in Diglett's Cave, which we go catch. And from here, we're going to go back onto the SSN now and get into our third rival fight of the run against Blue. Blue starts off with Tangler. I'm going to start off with Tropic, and I make a hard switch immediately over into Bye-Bye. And as we do this, we take a Poison Powder on the switch. I switch once again, once getting the Tangler down to low life though, over into Arcanine, take a Bind. And when we finally get out of this, we can go for Ember and finish off a Tangler. Next up then after, Blue sends out Licky Tongue, and Licky Tongue with its headbutt takes down our Growlithe, giving us our first death of the run. With this then, I'm going to send out Cabbage and try to do a bit of chip damage to the Licky Tongue, hitting it 2 times to knock it down into lowish life, before then switching over into Tropic. I take a headbutt on the switch, do a bit more damage onto the Licky Tongue. Blue goes and uses a Hyper Potion annoyingly, and he also gets me into low life as well, so I know here I'm going to have to go for the Hypnosis. I put the Licky Tongue to sleep, and I spam Mega Drain until this goes down. Just in case the same thing was going to happen here as well, I do the same thing. I go use Hypnosis, put the Machoke to sleep. It wakes up on the first one. We do it again straight after. Put it straight back to sleep. And we spam Mega Drains until it goes down. Also recovering all of our life back in the process. Now because of this, we've just got Blue's final Pokemon, which is Charmeleon. Hits me with Firewall, and it burns me, as I also go for a Hypnosis on this and put it to sleep too. Once getting into low life, Blue spams with Psybeam, get into low life and also confuse it, which makes it hurt itself in confusion, and we can go finish this off with a Psybeam and defeat Blue. Going into the room afterwards to go pick up the HM for cuts, I start clearing out the trainers in the Vermilion Gym, and while clearing these out, we take down its Electabuzz, which gets our Diglett to grow to level 26, which means it's going to evolve, turning our Diglett into a Dugtrio. I'm also going to go use a Moonstone I picked up in Mount Moon earlier now to finally evolve my Nidorina into Nidoqueen, and then we're going to go get into the fight with Lieutenant Surge. He starts off with Voltorb, I start off with our Dugtrio, and I go use Dig and take down the Voltorb with a one-shot. During this fight, they're spamming a lot of Sonic Booms, which does actually flinch me a few times and also crit me and nearly take down Diggy. But that's fine. We can also go take down the Magnemite to a one-shot from Dig as well. But now we've just got the final Pokemon of Lieutenant Surge's, which is his Raichu. And for his Raichu here, I'm going to go make a hard switch over into Cabbage, as we're hit with Duskclaw. That's fine though, it's only doing about 20-ish damage. And that's fine, we start going for Duskclaws of our own afterwards, and go and take down the Raichu with 2 of these to win the fight and earn ourselves the Thunder Badge. I'm then going to go ahead through Diglett's Cave and pick up the HM05 for Flash, head back into Cerulean and get myself a Bicycle, and then go ahead into Rock Tunnel. And I picked up Flash for no reason because I didn't even use it. But once getting through Rock Tunnel, I go ahead over into Celadon, pick up some Evolution Stones. I also go pick up Fly, and I go get my encounter after, which is a Vulpix. After capturing this up, I'll go give it a nickname of Majestic, do some training, head into the next route just over on the right, and I accidentally run away from the Mr. Mime I wanted to catch, so I was fuming about that one. We lose our encounter. And we're going to start using some of our Evolution Stones now as well after doing some training, so Tropic goes and evolves into an Executor. We go evolve Majestic over into a Ninetales. And then some more training that was done afterwards. We go and evolve Venus over into a Venusaur. And then we're going to go get into the fight with Erika, the grass type gym leader of Celadon. She's going to lead off here with Victory Bell. I'm going to go lead bye-bye. And I go for a Leech Life on the first turn on the Victory Bell. And we go knock this just below half-life. Annoyingly though, Erika hits me with Sleep Powder, so I go make a hard switch after into Majestic. Take a filthy slam on switch. And I go finish off the Victory Bell with Flamethrower. Next up then, Erika sends out Tangler. And this also goes down to another one-shot from Flamethrower, so we go and take this down. And now that's going to put us into her final Pokemon, which is Vileplume. And Vileplume goes and gets put into a third of its HP from our Flamethrower. It puts us to sleep with Sleep Powder after. But because I know it's got not really any moves that are going to do too much damage, I do try to stay in for a few turns. But because I'm not waking up, I go make a switch then over into Tropic. And I go hit this with a Side Beam, taking down the Vileplume and defeating Erika for the Rainbow Badge. With Erika out of the way then, we go ahead into the Team Rocket's hideout in Celadon and go get into the fight with Giovanni. Our first one with Giovanni in the run. I lead Tropic here, take a Fury attack from the Sand Slash, but then I go take this down with a one-shot to Mega Drain. After then he sends out Rhyhorn, and I know this is also a one-shot to Mega Drain, so we go take this down too. And then next we get Dodrio, who I was a bit funny with at this point of the run, because I didn't know what type it was. I make a hard switch over into Majestic as it hits me with Tri-Attack. Doesn't do too much damage. I then go for Flamethrower, and Flamethrower is almost going to take down the Dodrio as it then hits me with Rolling Kick. I didn't expect it to be super effective or crit, and it almost killed me, so I instantly make a switch just in case it knows something like some kind of quick attack. Switch over into Bye-Bye, take another Rolling Kick there. And that was super effective too, so that made me question what type it was. I'm guessing it's Ghost. But it's fine. I'll go take down the Dodrio after then with Bye-Bye. And now lastly we got Kangaskhan. So I'm going to go hit this with Confuse Ray. Take a headbutt after before making a hard switch over into Tropic. Kangaskhan does a bit of chip damage to itself through Confusion. And from here I can just spam a couple Mega Drains, take down the Kangaskhan, and defeat Giovanni. With Giovanni down, I can then go pick up the Silph Co, which will allow me to complete Pokemon Tower. But before we go there, I decided now what I want to evolve my Eevee into, and I chose Vaporeon. And with all that done, we do head into Pokemon Tower back over at Lavender Town and get into the fight with Blue. Blue leads off his Hitmonchan, I lead off Majestic, and I go for two Flamethrowers here to go take down his Hitmonchan. Next up then he sends out Jolteon, so I gotta make a switch here over into Diggy. Now Jolteon only had electric type attacks as its only attacking move, so it was just spamming Double Team a bunch. Took me a very long time to finally hit this, but when we do hit this with two digs, Jolteon can finally go down and get us into our next Pokemon, which is Gyarados. So for Gyarados, I make a switch here over into Venus, get paralyzed by the Body Slam on the switch. Then I go for a Static Snag, which is an electric type move. And then after trying for a couple turns, I can go take this down with a Tackle after. Now for his Kadabra that comes out next, I hard switch over into Tropic, and basically I'll go take this down with two Mega Drains. Nextly then we got Charmeleon. I stay in with Tropic even though they've got a type advantage. Hit this with two Side Beams, and that's Blue defeated. Go pick up the Pokeflute afterwards. And then we're going to go get into another encounter just past Celadon City, which is our guaranteed Snorlax encounter. So I capture this up after doing a bit of chip damage with the Great Ball. I start heading then down into Fuchsia City as I go pick up the Gold Teeth. I go get HMO 3. I also go give the Gold Teeth to Warden, which is going to give us strength. And from here then, we're ready after doing some training to get into the fight with Koga. Koga starts off with Tentacruel. I'm going to start off with Majestic. And I'm going to Amnesia on the first turn. We then hit by Side Beam, and this annoyingly confuses us, so the plan that I had, which was to pretty much sweep the entire gym, kind of turned to shit because I hit this with Sidekick on the Tentacruel, take this down, Muck comes after, we hurt ourselves in Confusion, and Muck goes to Acid Armor now, which is going to make its defenses at +2. So when I do hit this with Psychic on the next turn, Muck isn't a one-shot anymore. I'm then hit by Poison Gas, this critical hits us, and also poisons us. So the fight isn't going as greatly as I was hoping. I stay in for another turn, try to hit the Psychic, doesn't work. Take another Poison Gas on the turn after. He gets another critical hit on us, so here, I go make a switch over into Sleepy. Once taking the Sludge after switching to Sleepy, I then learned that this Muck has Drain Punch, which I didn't even realise was in this game. So that wasn't going all too great for us. I do manage to put its life a bit more back down though with Body Slam, but from here, I need to go make a switch. So I switch over into Bye-Bye, take another Drain Punch on the switch. which is nice because it's not very effective, so he's not going to heal too much. And I go finish off a muck with a psychic. The next Pokemon name's Venomoth. I hit this with a Leech Life. Leech Life's going to knock it down just below half life. And then Venomoth goes and hits me with Sleep Powder annoyingly. And due to this, I switch then over into Vaporeon, dodge a Dream Eater, and go for a Surf, which takes down the Venomoth. Might have been due to a critical hit, but I think it might have killed as well. Lastly, then we got Koga's final Pokemon, which is Weezing. I hit this with Chai Attack, get a critical hit and knock it just above half-life before then taking a Toxic. Surf afterwards, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be fine. And Weezing ends up surviving on really low life. It then uses Growth. And I actually thought this was fine because I didn't realise what Growth was doing here. But it raises a special, so when I go for Surf again on the next turn, Weezing survives and then goes for another Growth. So this is starting to look pretty bad now. This Weezing's in +2 special defense, +2 special attack. So I gotta make a switch over into Tropic. Goes for another Growth and gets into +3. And I take the risk here of trying to go for Hypnosis and putting it to sleep, which doesn't work. We then take a Poison Gas. This also critical hits us. And I go take the risk again with Hypnosis, which thankfully puts the Weezing asleep this time. And now I can just spam some Side Beams, take down the Weezing, and we managed to get through this Deathless, which is really lucky actually because I didn't think that was going to happen. But with that done, we earn ourselves a Soul Badge from Koga, head into Celadon City, and then head into Silph Co to go get into the next fight with our rival Blue. Blue here leads off with his Golbat, I'm leading off with Majestic, and I go for a Psychic immediately on this and go taking this down with a one-shot. Next up then we get Gyarados. I also hit this with Psychic as well, and this actually doesn't do too much damage. It then hits us with Hydro Pump too, so it's quite concerning. I'm immediately making a switch afterwards over into Sleepy. Take another Hydro Pump on the switch. And then I take a Hyper Beam afterwards as well. With Sleepy and a Body Slammer, I go knock the Gyarados down into low life. We also paralyze this as well. And I'm going to use this as an opportunity to go use Rest and get my HP back. I know it has to recharge this turn. And once I finally wake up, I go hit this with a headbutt and take this down. Blue then sends in Tangler after. A Body Slam here is going to put it into really low life as it uses Spore and puts me to sleep. So I go make a hard switch over into Bye Bye. Take a Razor Leaf on the switch. And then I go finish this off with a Leech Life. Blue's next Pokemon then is Chansey. I make another switch from Bye Bye over into Vaporeon. Take this down with 2 headbutts. And then lastly we get Charizard. And Charizard is going to go down to a headbutt followed by a Surf here as we defeat Blue. And get into our second fight of a run against Giovanni, as he threatens us with a world of pain. Little does he know, this is what we're planning to deliver to him. He starts off by sending out his Nidoking. I send out Majestic, and Majestic's gonna go take down this Nidoking with a one-shot to Psychic. The next Pokemon then's Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan's gonna go down to a 2-shot to Psychic. Kingler after actually does a lot of damage to us, but we're able to go take this down with a 2-shot to Psychic as well. And that's then gonna put us into his final Pokemon, which is Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen, just like Nidoking, probably goes down to a one-shot from Psychic, but with the HP I had, I didn't want to test that theory. I go make a hard switch over into Vaporeon, take an Earthquake on the switch, and then I go take this down with a one-shot to Surf. And with that done, that's our second fight with Giovanni finished, allowing us now access into the Celadon City gym, where we're going to enter after doing some more training and get into the fight with Sabrina. Sabrina being a Psychic type trainer, leading with her Kadabra, made me want to go start with Majestic and go for an Amnesia on the first turn. Kadabra goes for a Meditate, then a Meditate on the next turn as I go Amnesia then into +4. And from here, I'm going to go for a Barrage, and I'm going to go take down the Kadabra with a 2-shot. Next event, Sabrina sends out Mr. Mime, hits us with Sonic Boom. It critical hits us. It doesn't flinch us because I think it used 1 the turn before as well. We hit this with Barrage and take this down. Now, I didn't know that this new Swift and it was going to have priority, but Swift actually doesn't kill us. It takes us from 16 HP down to 8 as we go for the Barrage and take down the Golduck. Sabrina's next Pokemon then is Butterfree, so another Barrage. We go take this down with a one-shot. And now lastly, we're up against her Alakazam. Now Alakazam is going to outspeed us most likely, so I use this as an opportunity to go make a switch over into Sleepy. I hit this with a Body Slam and knock it down into just below half-life. And because of its speed drop after getting paralyzed, I go for another Body Slam after, take down the Alakazam, and that's Sabrina defeated for the 6th gym badge of a run. From here, we go to Cinnabar and pick up the secret key, then head into Blaine's gym. Blaine is a fire type trainer. He's starting off with his Ninetales. I start off with my Vaporeon, and Vaporeon here can go take down the Ninetales with a one-shot to Surf. So we go and take this down, and that's going to put us into his next Pokemon, Magmar. And Magmar also is another one-shot to Surf, so we go and take this down as well. And after taking down the Magmar, we then get into his third Pokemon, Flareon, another one-shot to Surf, so we finish this off. His 4th Pokemon, Rapidash, also another one-shot to Surf. So I'm going to go take this down as well, and that's going to put us into his final Pokemon, Arcanine. Just like the rest of the Pokemon in this gym, Arcanine is a one-shot to Surf, so I go take this down as well, and that's Blaine defeated for the 7th gym badge of a run. Now, I actually just wanted to try out a few cool things that I saw you could do on this game here after getting the 7th gym badge. I really wish I could use this in a run, but I can't. I go back to the SSN in Vermilion, and I go use Strength from the truck to go capture myself a Mew. From here, then after as well, I'm also, because I got a Master Ball, gonna go and have a little play around with the glitch. In Cinnabar, finding myself at level 120 missing no. Awesome design of the skeleton Kabutops. I go capture this with a Master Ball. Obviously I can't use them in the run, so they're in the trophy part of the PC. I head back into Viridian after for our third and final fight with Giovanni, who's the 8th gym leader of the run. Giovanni here leads off with Kingler. I'm leading off with Venus. And I'll go for a Razor Leaf on the first turn, which I now know is double super effective. And we go take down the Kingler with a one-shot. Nextly, then we get Dodrio, who I'm still kind of unaware of at this point. I make a switch over into the Lapras that we got in Silph Co, and take a Twin Needle on the switch. This also poisons us as well, which I thought was fine, but then it goes for an Earthquake. Crits us, gets us into really low life. We then hit this with an Ice Beam, double super effective again, take down the Dodrio. And now nextly we got Dugtrio, which is going to outspeed us too, so I'm going to here make a switch over into Tropic. Take a submission on the switch, and I'll go finish this off with a one-shot to Mega Drain. After taking down the Dugtrio, Giovanni's then sending in his Nidoqueen. I hit this with Psybeam. Psybeam is also a one-shot, and that's going to put us then into his Nidoking, which is also another one-shot to Psybeam, so I'll go and take this down. And we're fighting against his final Pokemon, Rhydon. Now that's definitely going to be a one-shot to Mega Drain, so I go finish this off, and we defeat Giovanni for the 8th gym badge of a run. With Giovanni defeated, we're going to start making our walk up towards Victory Road. But before we get to Victory Road, we have to go get into another rival fight. On the spot where we have our second rival fight of a run. Blue this time doesn't have 2 Pokemon though, he has 6. And he's going to be starting off with a Tentacruel. I start off here with Lorelei, and we start spamming some not very effective attacks against each other. Hitting this with a bunch of Surfs and Hydro Pumps until the Tentacruel goes down. After this then, Blue sends out Machamp. I make a hard switch over into Tropic and take a Comet Punch before going for a Psybeam on the next turn and being able to one-shot this Machamp. And with that done, that's going to get us then into Blue's third Pokemon, which is Victory Belt. This goes down to 2 Psybeams. Golem after. This is going to be a one-shot to Mega Drain. It's also going to heal back all of our life too, so I was very happy he sent that in. Putting us into his 5th Pokemon, Alakazam. It starts spamming Meditate. I'm trying to do what I can to this with Mega Drain before making a hard switch over into Bye-Bye. And this Alakazam also knows Recover, so it's definitely just healing itself with that. After hitting this with a Leech Life though, we put it into very low life. It's going to recover again here, but that's not going to be enough healing because the Leech Life that's coming straight after is going to go finish this off and put us into his final Pokemon, which is Charizard. For Charizard, I make a hard switch over into Vaporeon, take a Heat Rush on the switch. This isn't going to do too much, it's not very effective. I outspeed on the next turn, hit this with Surf, and that's Charizard taken down and Blue defeated. And we just go head straight into the Elite Four with our first fight against Lorelei. Lorelei's an Ice type trainer with mostly Water types, with a lot of Water types as well, so because of this probably wasn't the greatest choice, but I did leave Majestic. I'll go and Amnesia myself into +6 against a Dugong, because it can't do too much damage to me with its Ice type moves. And once getting myself into +6, I go hit this with a Flamethrower and take this down with a one-shot. So Lorelei's Dugong goes down. She then sends in Cloyster after. This is also another one-shot to a +6 flamethrower, so we go take this down. Getting ourselves into our third Pokemon now. Her third Pokemon, Slowbro. I switch up from using flamethrower into Barrage and take this down with a one-shot. Same with the Jinx as well. This is another one-shot to Barrage, so I'll go take that down. We then got Vaporeon. Vaporeon's going to go down to 2 Barrages. And now lastly, we just got Lapras, which goes down to 2 Barrages as well. And with that done, that's Lorelei, the first member of the Elite Four, taken down. Putting us then into the second room of the Elite Four against Bruno, the fighting type trainer. Now again, because he's a fighting type trainer, I'm going to be leading Majestic again. And with Majestic, just like we did against Lorelei, I'm going to start using Amnesia to go get myself into +6. The next Pokemon Bruno sends out then after is Hitmonlee. I then hit this with a Psychic, take down the Hitmonlee, and that's going to put us then into Bruno's third Pokemon, Onix. This goes down to a one-shot from Barrage. Fearow as well is also going to go down to a one-shot from Psychic, so we go and take this down. I then get Primeape. Primeape's also another one-shot to Psychic after it does some damage to us. And that's just going to give us his last Pokemon now, Machamp. Now, I outspeed the Machamp, so I go for the Psychic. Take this down, and that's Bruno defeated, allowing us to then go into the third room of the Elite Four against Agatha, the ghost type trainer. Now this time, as they're starting with Marowak, I start off with Venus as my first Pokemon here, and I go hit the Marowak with Razor Leaf, taking this down with a one-shot thanks to a critical hit. Agatha then sends in a Mr. Mime after, and I go switch from Venus over into Bye-Bye as we take a Sonic Boom on the switch. This critical hits us and does a lot of damage, and I decide I'm staying in as it goes for another Sonic Boom. This Sonic Boom doesn't crit this time at least, and I go hit this with a Leech Life, which actually doesn't do as much damage as I thought it was going to do, so I then get a little bit worried for Bye-Bye, so I go make another switch, going from Bye-Bye back over into Venus as we take another Sonic Boom on the switch, hitting then the Mr. Mime with a Razor Leaf on the next turn. That puts it into very low life. It then hits me with Psychic. Psychic puts me to around about midlife, and I use this as an opportunity to use Growth here and get some HP back. This also puts me into +1. Mr. Mime hits me with another Sonic Boom. I then get a second Growth off, get most of my HP back, and I go finish this off with a few Razor Leafs after the heal. That's then going to go put us into a Ninetales. So I go make a switch here over into my Vaporeon. Take a Sonic Boom on switch, it crits, that's fine though. Another Sonic Boom on the next turn as well, which is nice. We go hit this with the Surf, and we go take this down with a one-shot, and that's going to go put us into our fourth, Pokemon, then Arbok, and I'm going to go take this down with 2 Surfs, putting us then into her 5th Pokemon, which is Tangela. Now, I don't want to keep a Water type out against Tangela, so I'm going to make a switch here over into Bye-Bye, take a Razor Leaf on the switch. I'm going to go for a Leech Life on the next turn and recover most of this life back. It then hits me with Spore though and puts my Butterfree to sleep. So I'm going to go make another switch straight away over into Majestic. Dodge a Dream Eater on the switch and then go and take this down with a Flamethrower after. And then that's going to go put us into her final Pokemon, Gengar. Now I'm feeling like Gengar's going to outspeed me here. And I'm kind of not sure if I should make a switch or not. And if I am going to, who I'm going to switch into. In the end, I decide to stay in with Majestic and I go for Barrage on the Gengar. And the 2 Barrages knocks it down onto 1 HP. It's then going to go put me to sleep with the move that it uses. So annoyingly, I do have to switch. I make a switch here over into Tropic. Agatha uses her Hyper Potion as well to get herself back up to full life. I go then hit this with Psychic, take this down with a one-shot, and that's Gengar down to defeat Agatha and let us into the 4th room of the Elite Four against Lance. Lance is a Dragon-type trainer and he's going to immediately start off with Gyarados, as I go lead off with Venusaur. I'm going to go for a Static Snag on the first turn as well and take down the Gyarados with a one-shot, as this is a double super effective electric type attack. Next up then he sends out Dragonair, and I start off by hitting this with Razor Leaf. Razor Leaf's going to knock it just above half-life, as then it goes and hits me with a Thunder Wave and puts me under paralysis. Because of this, I go make a hard switch over into Lorelei, take a Dragon Rage on the switch, and then I go for an Ice Beam, and it misses. I'm then hit with a Thunder Wave, and I knew from this point here the fight is going to go terribly. Taking a Hyper Beam straight after off the Dragonair. As we do, at least manage to get past paralysis and take this down. Lance sends in Seadra after, and I go make a hard switch over into Tropic. With Tropic, I go for a Mega Drain, then I follows up with a Psychic after to go take this down. Lance then sends in Dragonite after. One Psychic on this goes and puts it just below half-life. Its Ice Beam doesn't do too much either, so I go finish this off with a second Psychic afterwards, which is then then going to go put us into his Aerodactyl. I make a quick hard switch over into Vaporeon on the Aerodactyl, take a Whirlwind on the switch, and that puts us under confusion. And then Aerodactyl goes for Sword Dance as well, so I'm getting a bit worried here. I really need to hit the Surf, and thankfully we do. Taking down the Aerodactyl with a one-shot, and that's going to put us into Lance's final Pokemon now, which is Dragonite. Now, Dragonite, this didn't go so well. I even had my Rage recording, which I'm going to include. So firstly on the Dragonite, I go make a hard switch over into Majestic and take a Whirlwind, survive with over half my life, and I go for a Barrage on this to try and do a bit of chip damage. Now sadly this survives over half life, hits me with Dragon Rage after, so I decide I'm going to go switch. Going from Majestic over into Lorelei as we take a Dragon Rage. As soon as we come in, we survive with 109 HP. I'm paralyzed, so I know there's a chance I'm not going to be able to get my move off. But just watch what happens here. Oh my god, no! Lorelei's gone. No! Oh my god, no! Lorelei, you fucking cunt. And now, I know that somebody's going to have to get sacked. So I weighed up my options because of my next fight with a rival. And I decide that Bye-Bye is the one who's going to have to go. I hit the Dragonite with Psychic. It hits me with Whirlwind. Knocks me onto really low life. And I just pray when I go for this second Psychic here that we could get a crit. Just anything, maybe. Dragonite does survive though. And takes down Bye-Bye with Whirlwind. With this, I then go back over into Tropic, outspeed the Dragonite and take this down with Psychic to defeat Lance, coming at the cost of the death of Bye-Bye. Maybe its name was a foreshadow. I've only just thought about that now. Because we're going to have to say bye-bye to Bye-Bye. Honestly, though, I was so angry about that fight. And even more annoyed knowing that I'm going into the final rival fight and the final fight of the run at a disadvantage. Because I'm going in there on a 5 versus 6. So I go ahead into the final room after healing everybody and go get into the final fight. And now, even more annoyingly, now my plan for this fight was I was going to leave Majestic on the Articuno, go for an Amnesia, put myself into +2 special, but then I go take a Blizzard. And this freezes me. So it's no longer a 5 versus 6, it's now a 4 versus 6. I immediately know I can't stay with Majestic, so I go make a switch over into Vaporeon, take another Blizzard here, and I just thought in my mind the whole time, I was like, we're going to get frozen again. I can feel it. And thankfully we didn't. I managed then on the next turn to hit this with a Tri-Attack and knock it down into half-life. And then on the turn after with a second Tri-Attack, we can go finish this off. After the Articuno goes down, Blue then sends in his Alakazam. And I'll go make a hard switch here over into Venus, as the Alakazam sets up a Reflect, before then hitting me with Psychic. Psychic goes and lowers my special, so when I go for Growth here, this isn't going to mean anything. This isn't really going to mean much. I knew I was going to survive at least, so I stay in for the second Psychic. Get down onto really low life before going for a Razor Leaf, hoping this would do a lot more damage than what it did. Alakazam survives with just over half-life, and now I know I'm going to need to try and bullshit my way through this, so I make a switch over into Tropic, and I try to go for the Hypnosis, managing to pull this off and put the Alakazam to sleep. Now, just out of hopefulness, I make a switch here over into Majestic, and I'm going to try and play out for a few turns to see if we can unfreeze. Unfortunately, this doesn't happen though, so I've got to make another switch back over into Tropic, and end up having to put it back to sleep again with another Hypnosis. From here, then I'm going to go Mega Drain, take a bit more away from the Alakazam's HP, before then hitting it with a Psychic, hoping this was going to do a little bit of chip damage, not too much, but this done a lot more than I wanted. Alakazam then after goes and uses Recover and gets most of its life back too, which was really annoying. And what made it even more annoying is that Butterfree was actually my counter to this Alakazam. I needed it for this Alakazam, and I actually needed it for Executor. The annoying part was as well, Alakazam kept waking up, so every time we got into low life, it woke up, and then it used Recover. So every time that happened, I was having to try to put it straight back to sleep again, and it didn't always work as well. Missing things like Hypnosis on the crucial turns. We do end up finally putting it back to sleep again. And after doing this for so long, just spamming sleep and spamming Mega Drain, we eventually get to low life when it's still asleep and can finally take this down. After Alakazam goes down, we still have 2 Mega Drains left, so I'll go for another Mega Drain then on the Rhydon, knowing this is going to be a one-shot. Getting us then into Blue's 4th Pokemon, which is Executor. Another Pokemon that Bye-Bye was supposed to handle. Another Pokemon that Bye-Bye or Majestic was supposed to handle but couldn't. So again, just like the Alakazam, I'm going to go for a Hypnosis and put this to sleep before then making a switch over into Lorelei. Exeggutor immediately wakes up. I go for an Ice Beam on this, knocking it down into low life as it then goes and hits me with Sleep Powder. Now this was really annoying because just like the issues I was having before with Alakazam, I'm going to have to start doing them again here. So I got to make another hard switch back over into Tropic. Use Hypnosis to get this back to sleep before then switching back over into Lorelei. And I'm going to have to spam a couple turns of just fight here, hoping that I wake up before the Exeggutor. Now this doesn't work. Exeggutor wakes up first, so I switch back over into my own Exeggutor. And we try this again, putting the Exeggutor back to sleep again with Hypnosis. And after putting it to sleep, I actually use the first turn here to use Soft Boiled so I can get my HP back. I see the Exeggutor wake up, I use Hypnosis again and put it back to sleep for a fourth time before then switching back over into Lorelei and just praying that the Pokemon that I needed so badly that just seemed like it was playing against us in that whole last two fights would wake up first. Exeggutor wakes up first, I end up losing my patience and staying in. It uses Egg Bomb and we wake up thankfully. Now because of this I can finally go for another Ice Beam and taking down the Exeggutor, which will then put us into his Snorlax after, hitting us with Strength as it uses Explosion, taking us into quite low life as it also knocks itself down just enough so we can take this down with a second Strength. And with that then, that's going to put us into his final Pokemon Charizard. I stay in with Lorelei. Charizard outspeeds, takes down Lorelei and gives us our third death of the run, and I was genuinely happy about losing Lorelei. I did not care, honestly. I hated Lorelei at this point. I switched then into Vaporeon, take another Thunder Punch after, and from here, I go for a Surf, take this down with a one-shot, and that's Blue defeated to win the battle and finish a run. Guys, I really hope you've all enjoyed this Pokemon PureRed Hardcore Nuzlocke. I've had a lot of fun playing this game, and I really recommend it as well, especially if you love Gen 1. Guys, if you've enjoyed, make sure you smash a like on the video, leave me some love down in the comments, tell me what you want to see next. I've got a lot of time on my hands to record. I actually recorded this as a series as well, so you'll be able to find that on the second channel if you're interested. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video, so thank you for sticking around. I know I've been quite a bit inactive lately. I've been out of the country. I'm finally back to making content again. And lastly, make sure you smash that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this as well. And with all that said, it's been Ant, and I will see you all in another video very soon. Peace out, guys.